price range is enormous. I mean, anything from £10 to probably about £750,000 this year. There's no such thing as a stereotypical map collector. You know, it's not another middle-aged beardy bloke like me. There are people of all ages, men and women, people from every part of the world who are fascinated by maps. And there are lots of different ways of collecting maps. You can focus on the mapping of a particular place. You could collect the mapping of London. Or you could focus your collecting, say, towards collecting campaign maps from the Napoleonic Wars. This is a great map. This is what we call a broadsheet. So it was separately published, this piece of paper, in 1815 in Paris to help Frenchmen dissect the final collapse of the First Empire. And it's a little bit soiled, a little bit grubby, and if I turn it over, you can see how many times it's been folded over. It's been stuffed into somebody's pocket. It shows all the battles and skirmishes which surrounded Napoleon's 2 abdications. And it's a nice reminder as well that maps are rarely neutral representations of the Earth's surface. There's always something going on, whether it's about trade or religion or warfare or politics. There's always another aspect to these maps. This is a fabulous piece of original campaign kit. It's huge, but if you're a young officer, and this was carried by a young officer called St Vincent, who was with the 39th Foot, which fought at Vittoria, this is exactly the kind of scale you'd need. There's been a huge surge of interest in 20th century mapping. I think partly because people have started to realise just how rare and important a lot of these maps really are. This is an original station poster, so this should have been pasted up in a London Underground station in 1935, and the print code down here reveals it was only printed in 1,000 copies in the first place. And it's exactly the kind of map that, at the time, in the mid-1930s, who was going to take home a map like this? It wasn't available to the general public. It was supposed to be used by London Transport employees. As soon as it was out of date, they tended to be pulped, they tended to be destroyed. So the survival rate for something like this is absolutely tiny. And yet now we recognise Beck's diagram as an extraordinary piece of 20th century cartography, completely original, copied by just about every major rapid transit system around the world, and a wonderful piece of Art Deco as well. I have maps in my own stock which are over 500 years old, but this is probably one of the rarest pieces of paper I currently own. So we've always been very flexible, I think, as a species. You know, we've had maps drawn on cave walls, on cylinder seals. Over the last few thousand years we've developed, you know, now we have them on paper. So I guess in time it will change, but for now, paper maps are still here with us.